it's me, Rachel Lynn, and today is Tuesday, and I thought that I might switch it up a little bit by doing a Teacher Tag Tuesday. Alright, so I heard about this tag from a couple of teacher vloggers that I like to watch here on YouTube, and I decided that I would like to participate in this. I do a lot of videos about both my weight loss and debt-free journey, and this is all about what it's like being a teacher and kind of like what we make and those kinds of things, and that goes right along with my debt-free journey, and so I thought that I would join in on this tag. So here we go. Let's go on into the questions. Number one, what state or country do you live in? I live in the United States, and I live in the state of Kentucky. Number two, how many people live in your household? Okay, this is kind of like a double-sided question. Technically, I guess legally, sort of, my household consists of one. It's just me. However, I do live with my parents, but I pay rent, so I actually rent my room, and my brother also lives with us, so technically there's 4 of us here, but I'm a household of one, and if I ever fill out forms and those kinds of things, that's what I fill out, because I take care of my bills and everything a little bit separately, but I do actually have some support because I do live with my parents, and they help me out from time to time. However, I am not responsible for anyone else. I do not have any dependents under me, if you count my dog, but the government doesn't count my dog. So, and I'm not married or anything like that. Number 3, are you a single or a double income household? Well, like I was kind of saying, it's just me, so technically I'm a single household income, but I do have some support. Now, I do pay rent, but it is very minimal rent. I do pay, my cell phone bill, and I pay my car insurance and things like that, but I don't pay electricity or water or internet, and I also don't pay for a lot of the groceries. So while I'm a single income household, I do have a lot of support from my family when it comes to other bills and things like that. Number 4, do you own or rent? I definitely rent. There's no doubt about that. Now, my parents own the house, but I rent and I pay them rent. Also, I'd kind of like to go a little bit back on that because I've only lived at home for a year, so the last 3 years, and then even 2 years before that, I actually was teaching in different areas, and those questions were solidly, I was single, I was the only one in my household, and I've always been a single income household, and I've always rented, so those were clear cut. Now it's I have a little bit of wiggle room in there just because I do have family support. Okay, number 5, what is your highest level of education? So I actually have 12 hours beyond my master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree with a major in elementary education. Then I have a master's degree in teaching. One of the biggest mistakes in my life. I should have gotten my master's in something different, but anyway, that's a different story. So I do have my master's degree, which that was a 30-hour degree, and then I have 12 hours beyond that in to attain an endorsement in gifted and talented education, which that is something I do not use, and I do not officially have that endorsement because I have to take a big expensive test that's kind of akin to like the SAT or ACT, but it's called the Praxis, and I have to take a big expensive test to get my endorsement in gifted and talented, and since I don't really teach that anyway, then I'm not going to pay for a test in something that I'm not going to even use. So I do have 12 hours beyond my master's. I do plan eventually on, you have to take some more, I'm not sure how many hours above your master's, but I do plan on getting what is called a rank 1, and that is so many hours above your master's degree, and there's like a bump in the pay scale that you get when you have your rank 1. So I'll get that eventually, but right now I'm just kind of maybe like halfway there. The next question, number 6, does your education affect your pay? And yes, it does. I think it caps out at like if you have like a PhD or a doctorate, but really there's no reason to have that unless you actually plan on teaching college. There's definitely a bump when you get your master's, which most states require you, and Kentucky requires you to get your master's within so many years of teaching. Number 7, how much did it cost you to attain your degree? Are you still paying for your education? Okay, so I did a debt story all about all of my debt, because all of my debt is student loans. It costs about, I don't even remember how much it actually initially cost. Probably somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 for my bachelor's. I spent 5 years getting that degree because I also have a minor in music. I just kind of did that because I spent my first year in college as a music major. I very quickly realized that that was definitely not what I wanted to do. It was just kind of like a little like, oh, a wishful, pipe dream that that after you really think about it, like, oh, why would I even want that? Because I didn't want to do that. But I had taken a lot of music classes my freshman year of college, and I just took a few more classes to get my minor in music. So, and a lot of principals that I've interviewed with, they're very, they're very excited about the fact that I actually have a minor in music. So it might help me get a job, but it doesn't really help me as far as pay. And but anyway, yes, I am definitely still paying for my education. So for my bachelor's degree, I think it was about $40,000 to $50,000 initially, and then my master's degree, I think, was somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000 initially. Now, because I actually have not paid on my student loans in like 10 years, I've just been deferring them and doing income-based repayments, paying $0 a month, and occasionally forgetting that I had to pay at some point because it was $0 a month. I just kept forgetting, and several times I had to go into forbearance, and I'm still not completely sure what that means, but I do know that it means that it tags on all of the interest and all of that to the principal balance, and it's a really bad thing to get into. But I did that for a long time, and so now currently my undergraduate degree is sitting at about $100,000, and my master's degree is about $70,000. So yeah, I'm still paying on that, and I will be for a long, long time. So yeah, although this channel is devoted to paying that off as quickly as possible. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to follow that journey, and I'm hoping to do that. Actually, I'm setting my main goal for 5 years, but I'd actually like to do it sooner than that. So yeah, so keep watching if you'd like to know about that and see how I'm doing with that. Number 8, where are you on your district's salary schedule? Okay, my current district is kind of weird because they don't really publish how much you make, and I have not ever seen an actual pay scale for my district. A lot of districts, most districts that I know of, they actually publish it online so that's easy to find, or at least the last district I was in, I was given a copy of the pay scale. And how the pay scale works is you have so many levels of experience, and you'll actually go down the levels. So you start at 0 levels of experience. So up here you'll start at 0, and then as you go down each step, it's 1 year of experience. A lot of districts will cap out after so many years of experience, then it does not go up anymore, but each year it goes up a little bit. For more years of experience, you get a little bit more pay. So this way, this way is how many years of experience, and then this way across the top, and so each row, like each column would be how much education that you have. So you would start out with, just your bachelor's degree, and then it would move on to maybe 15 hours above that, then, or maybe just to master's, and then up to the next one, which would be like a rank 1, and then like a doctorate. I actually am at let's see, I officially have 5.5 years of experience. Subbing experience that I have 5 years of subbing experience. That doesn't count. But I have 5.5. The half year doesn't count. However, thankfully my district has a little bit of wiggle room, and they count me as actually having 6 years of experience now. So that kind of like helps me out a little bit. And then I also have my master's, so it like pulls me over on this scale. And I don't know what my district pay scale is. I do know that the principals have some kind of wiggle room, so I might be able to go to a different school within my district and make more or less money, even though I have the exact same education and experience as I do right now, and move over there. I might get paid differently depending on the school. I think they have some wiggle room. I don't know how much wiggle room, and it's not published, and I'm not given one either, so I really don't know. I do know that last year I was given a salary of $37,000, which is the most that I've ever made, actually. I am going up a little bit next year. It's still within the 37,000 range, but there is a slight bump in pay, so not a whole lot, but I have an extra year of experience, so I get a little bit more money. Oh, I think I skipped one of the questions, but I kind of answered 2 in 1. So, how is your salary schedule structured? Starting point, max out salary, annual increases, and like I said, I don't really know as far as like where the beginning and the ending is for my district. I don't really know. And then I did tell you like where I am on my salary schedule. Okay, so number 10, do you supplement your income in any way? If so, how? Yes, I do. I work at Churchill Downs and Keeneland racetracks in April, May, June, September, October, and November. I work there. Keeneland is April and October, and then Churchill Downs is May, June, September, and November. And it's very good money. It's over $20 an hour. And the thing is that it's not always like guaranteed that I'll definitely work. So I just have to like try and work. I did a video on what it's like to be a mutual teller and what it means to try to work out there. If you would like to watch that, then go and watch that. So it goes into much more detail. And then I also do some other side things. I do surveys online, and at first I was making some pretty good money, making like $100 a month, which isn't a whole lot, but it was just kind of like $100 a month in my spare time just playing around on the computer. But I've kind of I'm not doing that so much, and I'm kind of tired of doing them. I have also looked into tutoring. I haven't done that yet, but I'm definitely going to ask to start out this coming school year to be put on the tutoring list for our school. Last year I did not want to be on the tutoring list just because I was just trying to get my bearings, and just because I was in a new school, and it was just really, like, it was a rough transition because I went from a very small school to a very large school, and it would have been too much to try to tutor too. So maybe I can do some tutoring on the side, but I haven't done that yet. I don't have any like set, always like part-time jobs. I used to, but it's kind of difficult when I also work at a very well-paying job that I do not want to give up. Several months out of the year, and it kind of makes scheduling hard. So yeah. Okay, moving on. I do supplement my income a lot. Number 11. How much money does your district give for supplies at the beginning of the year? Do they provide basic supplies throughout the school year? Okay, my school gets money at the end of the year. I get $250, I think. $250. It might be $200. And now I can't remember. we get it at the end of the year, and we put in our order that we have to order through the school. I think it's called school supply, and the school orders it for us based on what we want. I get either $200 or $250, but that's because I teach kindergarten. If you teach any other grade, it's either $100 or $150, all the other grades. So kindergarten gets a little bit more money because we use a lot of supplies. I actually did not use all of my money yet, so I will be able to use the rest of it sometime probably before the middle of the year. So if there's something else that I need, I'll still be able to order it. We are also given, let's see, the PTO gives us, I think, $100, but that's a reimbursement. So there's that. And they don't supply basic supplies. The kids do provide most of their own supplies, and well, not the kids, but like their parents. So that stuff is mostly taken care of. But I actually do spend a lot of my own money on school supplies. I actually have more than double in my budget, more than double I allow to spend on teaching stuff than I do on myself. So, yeah, I spend a lot of money on school stuff. So you have to check out one of my budget videos to see. I budget $60 to spend on myself, and I budget $150 for my classroom every month. And that amount actually shoots way up in like July, August, and September, and then it goes back down. But yeah, I spend a lot of money in my classroom, and not much of that is reimbursed. Now, we do also have to purchase snacks, but we get reimbursed for that. And then some things, like I'm not sure about Christmas, maybe Christmas and Mother's Day, like if we do projects, we can actually get reimbursed up to a certain amount for that as well, but it's not a whole lot. So yeah, that is, we do get some reimbursement for that too. Number 12, do you have additional deductions taken from your paycheck? I have insurance. Now my district does pay for most of my insurance, but some money comes out for insurance. I also contribute, at this time, I contribute 2% towards 401k. And I do that because they actually, I think we are given 4%, and then they match completely up to like 2%. So I think it's been a while since I signed up for it. So I think right now I'm currently getting like 8% put into 401k, but I am actually only contributing 2%. I feel like that's a pretty good deal, and 2% was only like $30 or something like that, $30 a month. Or a paycheck, can't remember which. I follow Dave Ramsey's plan, and he says not to contribute to retirement, but I feel like I didn't want to miss out on the match, even though it's only 2%. I felt like it was low enough that I wouldn't miss the money so much, and enough that I would want to put it towards retirement. So I went on ahead and did that, and I will bump that up once I am out of debt. I think that's all the deductions that come out, but I actually, honestly, I don't know how much they are. So I can't really tell you. Number 13, do you feel like your current salary is enough for you to make ends meet? Okay. Since I live at home, yes. If I lived on my own, no. And I'll just tell you that because I make just a little bit more, like a couple $1,000s more, just a little bit more than I made at my last school. My last school, I lived on my own. My apartment I rented for about $700, and then I also had to pay all my bills on my own and things like that. And I was on a budget. I was not quite following Dave Ramsey's plan, but I was on a budget. I did keep control of my money, and I did not, go crazy spending, because I didn't have any money to spend. Now, most of my spending money went to school supplies and things for school, but I wasn't saving, and I was trying to pay off my credit cards. Even though I wasn't quite following Dave Ramsey's plan, I was still trying to pay off my credit cards, and I wasn't getting anywhere. and that is one of many reasons why I actually moved home. I was barely making ends meet, and I wasn't even making payments on my student loans. I did have some credit card payments, but they were not near as much as my student loan payments are. So no, I would not be able to make ends meet if I didn't live at home. Number 14, how many months a year do you receive a paycheck? Okay, I actually get a paycheck 12 months of the year. So I get 24 checks because I get paid on the 15th and the 30th. But I do get paid for 12 months out of the year. Misconception for teachers though, I do not get paid for summer months. My contract goes from August 1st to May, the end of May. So I do not get paid for June and July. I receive no money for those months at all. And I do get paid throughout the summer, but that's because I take my money, the money that I get for working 10 months of the year, and they spread out your checks so that you get the same amount all 12 months of the year. Which also means that even though I'm technically unemployed for 2 months, I can't receive unemployment. Even though I put money in, it's my money. I should be able to get it. I can't get it because I don't qualify, even though it's my money. Anyway. Oh, let's keep going. Number 15. In general, what are your major monthly expenses? If you wanted to see my monthly expenses in detail, I would suggest checking out one of my budget videos, and you would definitely be able to see all of those. But as far as my major expenses, I donate to my church each month. I pay money towards my student loans. That is my biggest payment. I do put some money in savings, but most of that savings is going to paying off my student loans because they're actually currently in default, and I'm working to get them out of default. And so all of that money going into savings is actually going to go to pay off my student loans once they're out of default. So there's that. I also have my cell phone bill. I have what's called HP Instant Ink. If you're a teacher, you've probably heard of it. It is wonderful. I pay a monthly fee, and I can print pretty much everything that I need to print at home, color or black and white, and I get sent printer ink, and I never have to buy it at the store. It's great. And then I have Netflix, and then I pay for my gas, my groceries. I already said earlier that I spend about $150 a month in teaching, in the teaching category, and then I have some money allotted restaurants and spending. Altogether, it's about $100 that I give myself for restaurants and spending. So the majority of my check pretty much goes to paying off my student loans right now. And you'll notice that I did not say rent, and that's because thankfully my parents are taking care of my my undergraduate student loans because they promised to pay for my bachelor's degree college, and my payment for that student loan is the same as my rent payment. So right now I'm paying that student loan instead of paying them rent. So I am paying rent, but just via student loans. So those are my main expenses. I also do some saving and for myself in what is called sinking funds, and I just kind of like save up a little bit of money each month for different things that I know that I'm going to need in the future, like car repairs, gifts at Christmas, a new computer, things that I know that are going to break and that I need. I need a new mattress, so that's a new sinking fund that I have recently added. So I do some saving too. Number 16, are there any financial goals that you are still working towards? Well, I'm still working on paying off my student loans. I really have only been working on paying them off for about 5-6 months. It was the end of January when I started on this student loan debt-free journey. So it hasn't been that long. My loans are still in default, and they will be for a few more months. So once they're out of default, then I will be working aggressively towards paying those student loans off. And right now I'm just working aggressively towards saving for paying them off. So there's that. I do actually do some saving, like I said, for different things that I know I will need in the near future. Hopefully, in the not too far future, I will be able to move out again on my own, and hopefully eventually buy a house, but I'm not really looking at that right now, not until my student loans are paid off and I have a decent down payment. And the last question is number 17. What is the biggest piece of financial advice you would offer someone considering teaching? Don't get student loans. Work your way through college. And I know that that sounds ridiculous, and I know that everybody says that you can't do it and it's not possible, but you know what? It is. I would just tell anybody, don't get student loans. I actually worked through college. I just spent that money on myself. I didn't have to worry about paying for it, and I didn't worry about it, but I still worked through college for myself. So it's very, very doable to work through college. And Dave Ramsey, who I follow, and if you're not sure who he is, I really suggest you look him up. Dave Ramsey, he said that there was a study done, and I don't know what the study is, but you might be able to find it on his website or find somewhere if you look him up. But he's actually said that students, that there's a study that says that students that actually work through college actually have better grades, and that's because and they are more likely to get a job coming out of college because they have some kind of experience. It might not be related to their field, but they have some kind of working experience, and they have better time management skills, and that's a big deal to future employees. So work through college, pay it off. You still have time to do things. You still have time for school. You still have time to hang out with friends, because I did it. And I did it just because I liked having extra money for myself. I didn't do it because I had to pay for college, but had I had to pay for college, I would have just worked. I just wouldn't have spent as much money on myself, which I didn't need that much stuff. Nobody needs that much stuff. So that is my financial advice for anybody looking to go into teaching. And I would also, the other biggest thing is have a job before you start on your master's. Don't start on your master's. Have a job working and teaching, and get a couple of years of experience so that you're comfortable, and then go get your master's if you have to, because not all states do, but a lot of states require a master's. So start teaching first, gather up that experience, and feel comfortable teaching, and then go after your master's and pay for it as you go. Do it slowly. It's fine. No big deal. Yeah, so that is my biggest financial advice. Don't get student loans. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this tag. If you are a teacher and you would like to participate in this tag, I have posted all of the questions down below, and so you can just copy and paste or just read them off, and let me know what it's like being a teacher where you are, if you are a teacher. And that's it. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.